It is also enlightening and liberating work. It is enlightening in that it literally allows us to see more clearly, and therefore come to understand more deeply areas in our lives that we were out of touch with or unwilling to look at. This may include encountering deep emotions such as grief, sadness, woundedness, anger, and fear that we might not ordinarily allow ourselves to hold in awareness or express consciously. Mindfulness can also help us to appreciate feelings such as joy, peacefulness, and happiness, which often go by fleetingly and unacknowledged. It is liberating in that it leads to new ways of being in our own skin and in the world, which can free us from the ruts we so often fall into. It is empowering as well, because paying attention in this way opens channels to deep reservoirs of creativity, intelligence, imagination, clarity, determination, choice, and wisdom within us. That was an excerpt from Jon Kabat-Zinn. The book that I'm reading by him is called, I forget the name. Anywhere we wind up, there we are, or wherever you wind up, there you are, I think it's called. It's his first or second bestseller, so just look up Jon, Jon Kabat, Kabat -Zinn. Really good stuff. This is one of my latest blog entries, just putting this excerpt on the website and here on the podcast and YouTube channel. So things are going well over here. This is my weekly update. I've got this up there. I've got my YouTube clips I put up 4 this week. I put up one from Jack Kornfield, one from Chris Ryan, and 2 from Duncan Trussell and Joe Rogan, I think. So they're all really good. Again, if you're a first-time listener, this podcast and YouTube channel, try to keep things under 10 minutes, short bursts of enlightenment and interesting ways of looking at the world and looking within ourselves. I'm no expert, but I do this as a form of review, I suppose, and practice, and a way to archive and share and discuss these topics, mind, body, and soul, with a very secular slant. Try to keep dogma and belief, blind belief at least, out of it. Faith is a word that I'm grappling with at the moment, studying and trying to see a few perspectives on what it means to people. But I'm gonna put that one on hold. I wouldn't say I should leave that out. And belief too, depending on how you use it. But in general, the way belief is used with religion is a very human sort of belief. Believe the priest, believe the rabbi, believe the imam, or whoever. So that's what I mean when I say that. David Thoreau. Chris Ryan talks about him and how he was the original hippie and the original disobedient citizen, and his essay on civil disobedience is, or it's called Civil Disobedience, he mentions was read by Gandhi, and it was read by Mandela and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and other leaders who have revolutionaries who have changed history, and so therefore Thoreau himself changed history. There's also on the website, it might have been on this time last week, but I read a great little piece by David Gelb on Psychology Today and wrote up a piece about creativity and how to cultivate it. So check that out. Back in this book of the Tibetan Art of Serenity, I've also been playing with those ideas of the 3 things to lead a spiritual life. 1 is simplicity. 2 is faith, an understanding of faith in yourself and faith in exterior. Kind of 2 ways of looking at faith there. And then the 3rd one was about practice and knowledge of the present. So it's like a mindfulness sort of slant or take on things. So that's it. Thank you. This is my personal podcast. I always want to say, I know I'm not as interesting as the people whose clips I also put on this channel, but thank you for checking it out and subscribing to my channel. Some ways to support always are write a comment on the blog, especially on the Mind, Body, Spirit subreddit or Facebook page, or write a comment on YouTube. YouTube, it would be great if that could be the whole thing. I would think if that keeps growing, I'll switch over to it entirely. I just use the blog as a podcast feed template, or when I do write an essay or 2. But so my points: upvote, share on Facebook and Twitter, and upvote. Those 2 things are really going to help support me and keep the channel alive. Again, 4 or 5 clips a week if you include this one, which I don't share. Only subscribers are probably going to run into this one. But it's good for me to just kind of speak on these things one more time and put my own voice in with the people who inspire me. So thanks a lot. And check out my books too. AJ Snook. I have my own Amazon page. Links are on my blog, ajsnook.tk or ajsnookauthor.blogspot.com. My novel is Sumire, Into the Deep and Into the Unknown. That's the full novel, which, because I don't put that one up for free ever, doesn't have any reviews or ratings on Amazon, so it kind of gets pushed to the bottom of the list still. So I'd really appreciate it if you read that. It's $2.99 on Kindle. It's a good 300-page, 280-page book. Psychedelic, futuristic, transhumanist, all really cool stuff I'm interested in. A little matrixy, a lot of asking